This is Tome 21, Dominus. The House of Arkham, Fear Follows.
Arcus, 10,333. Rituals of the Black Serpent. Book by an unknown scholar. I have found several different versions of the manuscript. The Black Serpent Society passed the scrolls down from High Priest to a successor. The scrolls were said to have been destroyed by warriors devoted to the destruction of the Black Serpent clan. Yet several scrolls were hidden in the unknown spaces between worlds and compiled into a book. Arcus, 10,357. Teyal, a cavern in the void in which a giant lizard-like creature dwells. This place is said to hold a doorway to another living dimension, unlike the entity.
What? This is totally different than the last two.
The Magnificent Maurice, 5. Well, time flew as it always does, and the pups were growing bigger and hungrier. So we made a home out of a crumbling old abandoned shack in the woods on the outskirts of a little town named Plumridge. And it was a good thing too, because the pups could sneak into Plum at night and bring back all kinds of scraps from the gardens and garbage bins. Turnips, and cabbage, and carrots, and beets, and all kinds of meat. We were living the high life in Plum. And on this one particular day, Willow came back from Plum with the strangest little box, covered in all kinds of gold and silver geometric shapes. She said she had found it in one of those black automobiles. The driver had stepped out to relieve himself, leaving the door wide open, and she hopped in and out before he knew what was what. She grabbed the box, and we stared at it all night in the moonlight pouring through the collapsing roof. Then we each took turns trying to open it, and when it wouldn't open, Trouble grabbed it and tossed it outside and said it was giving him a bad feeling. A really bad feeling. But would you believe, the next morning, it was right there on the floor next to us, and the pups were accusing one another of playing pranks and trying to be funny. When they all swore they were innocent of tomfoolery, we gathered around the box and stared at the gleaming gold and silver shapes and wondered what in tarnation was going on.
What in tarnation? Why is this special box following us around? Oh, shit. Then it shows a picture of an absolute horrible monster. And a bunch of dudes with guns. Sick-ass gas masks. Going after it. The Lost Battalion. No hope.
The Lost Battalion. To fight another day. Down at the gates of a small community, a German soldier raised a hand to signal to Evan that the men were in position. Evan didn't know how long he had been in this terror world, but he had somehow managed to unite his men with the enemy so that they could improve their odds against whatever this hell threw at them. Now they found a gated town of survivors who had created a community with homes and buildings that reminded Evan of his hometown. It was ripe for the taking. And just as he was about to whistle the attack, he hesitated, sensing he was stepping into a trap. Instead of signaling the attack, he raised his hand for his men to hold their positions. Then he lowered his war mask and scanned the area, taking slow, deep meditative breaths. Ambush. Definitely an ambush. With the sudden realization that they were being watched, Evan gave another whistle that immediately told his men to retreat. One by one, they melted into the gloom and regrouped at the crumbling ruins of a medieval castle.
It's like, okay, so it is a Lost Battalion, and they're in one of the rifts, I would assume.
dead of night, soldiers at the gates. Atop a watchtower, Mahan watched the German soldier approach the gates of their small town through the scope of his rifle. What are they waiting for? Jaden approached Mahan from behind, holding a sword he had pulled off a statue in a lost realm. Mahan didn't respond as he searched the fog with his scope and found the pack's leader holding his hand up, telling his men to hold their positions. He watched him lower his mask and scrutinize the gates. He then looked up at Mahan and smirked. Haley inched up to Mahan. They know. But before he could answer, they heard a shrill whistle, and Mahan watched the pack retreat into the fog. He lowered his rifle. They'll return, he said flatly, adjusting his turban. We need to be better prepared. How many? Haley asked. I counted 12, give or take. Soldiers. Our world, or a world like it, circa 1918. I'm not concerned. Jaden held the sword close to his chest. I am. Their leader has instinct. I've got instinct, Jaden offered. Not like him. And Haley and Jaden followed Mahan down the ladder to warn the others that the rowdies had retreated, but that he was sure they would return with a better plan.
Man, okay. Why don't they work together? Oh, man. It's them firing at the monster. The monster taking out 3 guys and the special mask guy stabbing it in the leg.
Arcus, 10,375. Vaults of Yathala. A secret tunnel complex beneath the realms leading to a community of survivors. Mentioned several times in Mary's notebooks, though I have yet to find evidence of such a complex.
Okay.
Arcus, 10,348. Krazik, a species of insect about the size of a horse that has black blood, like oil that can be used as fuel.
Interesting. About the size of a horse. You're not saying that was the last picture, was it? I'm not saying that thing was the size of a horse. It's massive compared to them. Dang.